Hello, everybody. Paul Vibes here. Welcome to Vibecast. We have a really special guest, an amazing friend, an amazing sister to so many, an amazing mom, amongst many other things. Great healer. And welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. I mean, there's so much we could talk about. I mean, you've been there since the early days of Vibe Fest, and I've seen you grow. We've seen so many people in the community grow and transform and the ebb and flows of life. And it could be like a 5-hour podcast. Yeah. And I'm going to be like a slow moving conversation too. But just, I just want to say welcome, to the podcast, and thank you for holding space and sharing space with me and, being part of my healing journey. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's an honor and a privilege and a blessing.
And, it's so crazy because like we look back of all the things that happen in community, in our own personal lives, and just remembering like, wow, like that's all there to teach you and help you transform and level up. And you need that.
Yeah. Yeah. We need the darkness and the light, the contrast, the duality to become the fullest whole expression of ourselves.
Yeah.
There is no light without the dark and vice versa.
Definitely. And sometimes you need that to see the light more clearly. And you had a great idea off camera talking about starting with a little grounding meditation. So I would love for you to share that with the people watching this.
Awesome. Okay. So I like to start by putting one hand on my heart, one hand on my stomach, taking a few deep inhales through the nose and out through the mouth. Another in through the nose. And then slowly, slowly out through the mouth. And doing a quick scan of our bodies, noticing if there's any tension, any nerves, and just imagining a picture of crystal water being poured over the top of your head, flowing down your neck and your ears and your shoulders, easing any of that discomfort, letting it flow around your heart space, letting any of those sticky old walls wash away, any fear that we hold in our stomach, let the water clear that as well. Letting it move and flow down into our hips and our thighs, becoming more grounded and more present. As that flowing, healing water goes into our knees and our shins and our calves and our ankles, feeling fully at ease in our bodies and bringing in joy for this present moment and gratitude for being here and sharing this special space with each other. And slowly opening the eyes and returning back.
Let's just stay there.
Let's just stay there.
What's funny is, I work with the special needs community and I take them to yoga sometimes. And one of my clients says to me at the end of the yoga, it's his favorite part, that moment where you're just like, being still and meditating, and
Savasana.
He likes to nap. He gets a blanket, and it's just cute. It reminded me of that moment.
Yeah. We don't have many moments where we intentionally pause throughout the day and just let our bodies relax. Because we're always just like, go, this thing, that thing. And it's like just taking that time to just be fully in your body is something special.
Very well said. And I think also being able to take that presence when you are moving and being present. I think that's something that's been a big part of my practice because, being a parent and running around a lot, there's a lot of responsibilities, and like being present with the rushing around is so important. And it's really possible, to be present and to be rushing around.
Yeah.
And to have a lot going on.
Yeah. And I think that gratitude comes in. It's like, we don't have to drive kids to school. We get to drive kids to school. And just like realizing how blessed we are.
And just the beautiful space that you created in that meditation, I think it's a great segue to share the many different containers that you create for people. I think there's so much that we could talk about. I think a lot of people watching this might already know about the beautiful offerings at the sanctuary and so many even beyond now. And there's a lot of expansion happening in your life. I know there's also a great women's group that you created that's fully booked, which is amazing. Congratulations. But what comes to mind for you right now that's feeling that you feel want to let out and share what you have going on?
Sure. So while you were speaking, I just flashed back to the moment when I was in my home in Dixelles, the sanctuary. And this was right when the kids and I moved in, and we moved in January of 2020. So right before everything happened. Okay. And I moved from this very tiny apartment into like this massive home in Dixelles. And there was this room in the house that was completely open. It was beautiful, fireplace, but I didn't have enough furniture to fill the whole house, let alone like this like extra room. And I was just sitting in the room and I'm like, I really want to hold full moon circles here. Like I was lonely. I was just like craving community. And I was like, I'm going to make this room a space for healing. And I really held true to that vision. And in December of 2021, we had our first one and it was a huge success. And that is when I got to meet a lot of people. And shortly before then, I met people at Vibe Fest, and I was just attracted to certain energies, and I knew that like we all had our own roles in building this community, which I consider a safety network. And to see how far we've come from the days where it was like 7 people at the full moon circles, 5 people, and now we're averaging like 40 people, and Vibe Fest gets like hundreds of people. And just to see the growth that happens when like-minded and like-hearted individuals come together to form a collective energy with similar shared values and missions, it's just like the most meaningful and substantial and just like peaceful part of my life that I'm so proud of. And now I'm transitioning into holding space for women and taking that energy and that momentum of community and holding each other and supporting each other and creating this container of 11 women that we're going to be working side by side in transformation, healing, empowerment, sisterhood for the next 13 months and going deep into ceremony and ritual that way. And it just feels like going back in time, like going back to the roots of when women would gather in the red tents, which is where we would go and menstruate and give birth together and just create this safe place in our busy modern world. And I'm so in love with it. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. I'm just like so grateful and so excited about it.
And you always create, actually, like, looking back, like you mentioned the first couple gatherings, I think you do a really good job of creating a really safe space, a safe container for people to connect on a deep way. And I think you do a great job of it. And I think I mentioned to you, always in a way envious but I'm really appreciative of how much the women are getting together on a consistent basis. And I think, like your partner and other people creating more men's groups, I think it's so important that men also get together.
Yeah.
And have that container.
I remember early on, like all the women were sharing and convening, and you were like, but what about the men? Like you were just like crying, like, why don't we have a space? And then like a few months later, I met my partner, and in our first conversation, he was like, yeah, I host men's circles. And I was like, what? I was like, how are you? And just integrating him into the community.
Yeah. And he's a great guy. I remember early on too, like he came into the picture, and I remember just being like, I said to you, and I think a lot of it, I was like, we need this guy in the community. And that tells a lot. Not many men will be like, we need this guy. But I was like, I can see a really good leader and a really good man when I see one. And I saw like so many great skills and the way that he conducts himself and communicates. And it makes so much sense how much you guys have grown so quickly in such a short time, and the collaboration between the both of you and just the way that you guys support each other.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful.
He really helped to up-level the events. Like, that was nice in our little healing room, and now it's like we can't even fit in that room. We had to build a whole deck outside and just do the ceremonies out there and in the woods. It's so beautiful and so powerful and so much fun.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching Vibecast. We just want to take a quick moment to thank some of the really special sponsors that made season 1 possible. Over here, we have Kozar, which is a really beautiful nasal inhaler that's made from all natural and organic ingredients. Really helps to open your pathways. They make some for pain relief, some for energy, some for focus, and even some essential oil blends in there that actually help you relax and sleep. We have I Am Healing Nature. They have some amazing herb and tea blends that can help your body fight whatever you're going through, especially during the winter time. They also have some great energy blends and detoxing blends. Over here, we have STEM Social, another great sponsor. They have some amazing blends that can help you with endurance, focus, energy. If you're interested in learning more about mushrooms in any way, we highly recommend that you check them out. We also have Roots Kava Bar in Port Jefferson. If you're looking for a setting to socialize and connect with people in the wellness community and you're not interested in going to a typical bar, they offer some amazing alternatives like kava, which can help you relax without being hungover and intoxicated. And it's also a great community hub to meet some really beautiful people. We want to thank you again to all the people watching the podcast. Thank you to our sponsors. Now back to the podcast.
And I think it's a testament, to relate this idea of relationship into the work you're doing. I think it's a testament to the work that you've done yourself, you continue doing yourself. We're off camera, we were talking about how many times I've started a podcast. I'm very honest about it and, real. There's been so many times where I'm ready to do it. I think I got things in order, this part of my life, because there's so much more than just the filming. There's the behind the scenes, the finances, the team. And when you're working on yourself, like you're able to attract the right things. And I think for me, I'm ready to attract this podcast. I have a great partner as well. And I think that, if you didn't go through all the things you went through in your life, you may not be in the same position to attract the partner
100%.
you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like the first step is attracting the partner, and then the next step is maintaining the partner, which takes consistent self-reflection, evaluation, communication, and commitment, just showing up for each other and for yourself every day. It's a choice.
Yes, the real lesson, the tests, the triggers, all things that come along was the
living together.
Yeah, that's next level stuff. But what are some of the things that the women are going to be working with you in this program that you created? I'm curious how that's going to look.
Sure. So it's going with the cycles of the year. So the first few months we are preparing to descend into winter, and winter is going to be all about rest and rejuvenation of our spirit, and also an internal inquiry. So we're going to go fearlessly into our unknown realms, and we're working with an archetype. The winter one is the goddess Persephone, who was the maiden of spring and then got abducted by Hades, the ruler of the underworld. And then so she went into her own journey in the underworld, and she came out of it the queen of the underworld. So we're going to be going on this journey inwards and facing our subconscious and unconscious world of the inner child wounds where we have limiting beliefs, and just getting to the root of it and planting love there and healing it so that it can release those patterns that make us self-sabotage and I really believe that the winter is that time to like just go inwards, heal, unearth what needs to be healed, and then coming out of it in the spring, it's going to be more about enlivening and compassion and heart opening. So we're doing all this work on our psyches and getting back to neutral. And then from there, we're going to build. Going into the spring, it's going to be working with balancing the feminine and masculine, the yin and yang energies within it. Yep. So that we can either call in our partner or deepen our relationships with our current partner. And then going into the summer energy, it's going to be more of the yang, abundance, career, manifestation, wealth building. And I'm actually having my partner, Brendan, come in and guest teach for some money support because that's not my area of forte currently. And I only want to teach from an embodied experience. So I can't be like, this is how you are a bad bitch when it comes to money when I'm like starting out on that journey. And then going into the next fall, which would be the year-long cycle, it's going to be channeling the Shakti universal energy and the goddess within ourselves. So how can we worship ourselves as the goddesses we are, and just like culminating everything that we've learned in the 13 months into being this expansive, aligned, badass versions of ourselves. And I'm having the women write a letter now to themselves 13 months in the future of how they want to be in the world so that we have a focus and a direction to move towards. And I'm going to like keep that at home and charge it with my rose quartz and just like constantly put love and energy into it. And I really believe in it. I believe in the power of intention and manifestation, and doing it in a group is only going to make it more powerful.
Yeah, I feel excited for you guys.
Yeah.
For you girls. I think that's going to be really powerful. Now, the containers, so it's closed for 13 months, right? That's the first.
Yep.
And I'm sure, guys, people watching this, you're like, oh my God, I'm sure Venus will hold more. And this, what's cool is, you know, with all the containers you create, you do such a great job at finding a theme and archetypes. And you're really cool at making it so much more than just a party. It's a really an amazing, you really do a great job at curating these intimate experiences. And I love going, and I love not having to plan. I love just being able to enjoy your events. You do a great job.
Thank you.
And seeing your space grow, and I know you've been expanding even more.
Yeah.
You've been doing things outside of the sanctuary, which I would love for you to take a few minutes to share.
Sure.
The offerings that are beyond, the sanctuary.
So right now, what we're currently working on is a creative project called Sophia's, and that is a sultry, sensual cabaret that is inspired by the talented artists and musicians in our community. So last September, we did a party in the basement for a solstice, and we did it like Cirque du Soleil themed. And one of our dear friends, Sophia, showed up full clown makeup, pigtails with like high heels, and her performance inspired my partner Brendan's vision to have an old school cabaret theme. So we have since then built out our basement into this gorgeous red velvet patent leather booth, speakeasy style venue. And we've hosted a few of them down there, and they've been so much fun and so magical and so beautiful. And we're currently in the process of looking for a space out in the world. And yeah, we've been putting a lot of our energy and effort into that over the last year or so. It's been like our baby.
I'm excited. You have such a great community that rallies behind you, and we have this community in Long Island is so robust and like it's there. Yeah, I'm really excited for anything you create. You always got my support, and I'm really excited to have also your partner on, Brendan, and have him talk about so much. I mean, there's a lot of topics that men need to talk about more. But I'm really just proud of all the different ventures that you go on, and the healing and the way that you bring people together. It's really amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really inspired. I get inspired too. And we had a really great opportunity to collaborate at one of the Vibe Fests, and you guys did a beautiful cacao ceremony and opening ceremony, which was, and there were so many people there at Long Island Glass who had never experienced something like that. And you did a great job. You and your partner did a great job at doing such a great job of holding space for people. For people who are watching this podcast who don't yet follow you or want to know where to find you, could you share a little bit about your social media, where you're most active? I know you're taking a little break at the moment, but feel free to share where people can find you.
My personal page is on Instagram at Goddess of Love, LUHV. And my professional page is at VenusSpeaks_XX. And my website, where you can find more about me, is venuspage.com. Like Paul said, I am currently taking a social media detox. I'm finding it challenging to balance having Instagram on my phone and not just like mindlessly scrolling. So right now, what's been working is to just completely delete the app off my phone, but I want to create a relationship where there's more intention with it and more balance. So that's what I'm currently working on.
Well, you got our support, and I think that you're already connected with so many people on the island, and you have your own chat, which people could reach out that are interested in learning more about, to stay in touch with you. I wanted to share, as we close the podcast, we didn't have a time yet to share your one-on-one offerings. I think you give a lot of value in your different healing modalities, which I highly recommend. I've taken part in so many of your events, and also Reiki, and you always do a great job. So
thank you.
Yeah, I would love for you to share some of that.
Right. So right now I am working out of L&L Healing Sanctuary in St. James that my dear friends Mark and Diana own. And
they're awesome. Such good people.
Yeah. And I do one-on-one intuitive healing, one-on-one private coaching. I'm a Reiki master, so I do Reiki sessions, and we have group spaces. We do monthly shamanic sound healing journeys, which you got to come to one of those. They're very fun and intense in the best way, where it's sound healing mixed with hypnotherapy.
What day and times is that?
The third Wednesday of every month.
At night. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I feel like that's it as far as...
People could also going to include all your social media, and so people can reach out to that.
Show notes.
Show notes in the description. But seriously, we could talk about so much here. I think this is a great podcast, sharing a lot of the different things that you have going on, and we hope that you come back as this podcast grows. This is season 1.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned earlier, we have a sponsor, STEM Social, which I know you're very open and supportive of that type of stuff. But what's really cool is they're a really supportive company. They they connect with people. They have conversations. They offer so many different types of mushroom supplements too, and it's really great people.
I'm a huge fan. I really support the use of microdosing to treat depression, anxiety. It's helped for me firsthand experience for sure.
And if people watching this who are new, you'd always check, reach out professional support, and your body, and do research, and look into things. But I think there's so much, whether it's modalities, whether it's going to workshops, whether it's breath work, going to acupuncture or plant medicine. There's so many avenues.
Oh, yeah.
And, Venus is also somebody that you could reach out to. You have questions, you want to learn more, and I'm sure Venus can direct you in the right direction. If you don't know specifically about something, you know a lot of great healers too.
For sure. We're a healing army over here.
Yes. So Brian, appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. Definitely reach out to Venus if you're interested in anything that we spoke about on this podcast. Wishing Venus a lot of success in all of your ventures, and looking forward to see what you manifest in the near future.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Thanks
for listening.
Peace.
Peace.